So I bought this wrecked Audi RS7 from the auction for $20,500 for a giveaway for my Instagram subscribers. I thought it was the best deal in the world until this thing came home. When it came home with some surprises. The wire harness got tangled into the wheel and ripped out from the interior. Audi quoted me $9,000 for this part, but I wanted to tackle it myself and save that money. I ended up buying 3 wire harnesses for a total of $900 and made one perfectly working out of 3. I was blown away from how expensive the replacement parts were for this car. $1,000 here, $1,000 there, and $7,000 later, we got all the parts. If you're interested in winning this car, all you have to do is subscribe to my Instagram at BYBTim. All the details to the giveaway are in the description of this video. I want to give away this car as soon as possible because I have all the mods already waiting for it. Which means this thing here has an appointment with the paint shop on Monday, which also means that we don't have much time because today is Saturday. We do have to address this right here, and right here we got a brand new bumper for the vehicle. This bumper here is from BK Motorsports, and shout out to you guys for hooking me up with a discount code, but this bumper has a little bit more prep work than I originally anticipated, so I want you guys to make the judgment call on which bumper you guys will get when rebuilding your own RS7, an aftermarket one like I got or a factory OEM one, which is like 3 times the price. But guys, we have 0 time. This thing's got to go to the paint shop in 2 days, and tomorrow's Sunday, so let's get straight to work. And before you guys think I'm crazy, the plan is actually to drive the RS7 to the paint shop, not tow it. Hey Tim, why don't you just sit in the car, start it up, and just drive it to the paint shop? It's that easy. It sounds easy, bud, but we got a lot of work. Let me show you, bro. Well, first of all, this front end is about to just fall off if I hit anything over 10 miles per hour. This headlight here, quite loose, and I don't necessarily think this is road legal. So why don't you just zip tie that and everything will be fine? This guy. We also don't have a seatbelt, so I'm not sure how road legal that is. And there are more things to address, so let's get right into it.
So we start working down the checklist of making this Audi RS7 road legal. And the first thing we got to address is the headlight wobble. And the reason why it's wobbling is because we're missing this one crucial component to the headlight.
This is a headlight bracket, and this should fix this. But apparently nobody in US, like none of the dealerships had it, so I had to get it used. Let's get it installed.
Getting it installed is actually quite simple. You pull the headlight off and the bracket slides on like a glove. The bracket mounts to the headlight first, and on the bracket there are mounting points to mount to the vehicle. I'm not sure why Audi didn't make the headlight mount directly to the vehicle.
Well, we got one thing knocked out of the park. This thing is a lot more stable, and this car is actually kind of interesting to set gaps on because you can't really align this headlight. It kind of just floats. You see this side has a gap between the fender and the headlight as well. So we'll see once we get the bumper on. I'm hoping that this aftermarket bumper will fit on. I hope I grabbed the right bumper because these are 2 different bumpers. One is for pre-facelift, one is for facelift. So before you guys get anything painted, make sure it fits.
And by make sure it fits, I mean double, triple check. Make sure that bumper sits on nice. Make sure the gaps line up. Make sure it clips in and you're extremely satisfied with everything, because if you get this thing painted, there's no returns and you can lose a lot of money that way.
I mean, we got it on. Fits pretty decent on that side, but on this side, it seems like we got a lot of finicking to do to make this work. I'm hoping that is just the adjustment of the headlight. So let's continue hoping for the best and see what we can do.
I was extremely worried that things are just not gonna fit, but I ended up putting on the fender bracket and things started looking a lot better.
To say I'm fully satisfied with the bumper would be a lie, but to say I'm fully unsatisfied would also be a lie. I don't know who buys an aftermarket bumper and expects perfect fitment. This one here is pretty decent, although there's edges like this here, you guys can see. I gotta just shape them up a little better. You know, these body lines here, just kind of get them flattened out. This side here matches pretty decent, maybe just a little bit trimming right here. But the problem side is gonna be the side where it was actually hit. And you guys see there's a little bit of a gap here. I can actually get this headlight adjusted, pulled back out here, and it'll be fine. But that's not what's concerning me. My biggest concern is this right here. You see it doesn't fold in there, sticks out a little bit, which means that this edge here needs to be trimmed. So let's see if we can get this done. I'm gonna be using a 320 on a block and see if I can actually get that file down so that edge of the bumper will fit in there. Well, the bumper looks about 100 times better. Take a look at that. Everything fits. We do have a little bit of a high spot right here. So maybe, yeah, you see how that's flush over there. Then we have a high spot right here. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that down to 320. I am using a little slower method, but it's kind of a safer method because if I use something more aggressive, I may have filed down too much, and it's easier to file down than add material. So let's get that fixed up and then go through the rest of the bumper, because we just kind of have, you know, just funny, like, the body lines are not as sharp as they should be, and then there's just funny kind of little things like that throughout the entire bumper that we gotta knock down, block, and make sure they're flat and nice, so when the paint lays down, it looks OEM.
Truthfully, one thing I never understood is why don't these aftermarket bumper companies just make a little bit higher quality bumper and have so much less hassle with customer returns, customer unsatisfaction, and stuff like that. But here I'm using a 320, filing down all the high spots, making this bumper look as perfect as possible because we want it to look absolutely OEM.
We are officially halfway done, and take a look at this. See this? That right there is a low spot, but you know, I got it all sanded out, so it's pretty perfect now. This is fixed up, looking great. This side of the bumper looks real good. And I want to show you guys a couple of the concerning areas and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So look right there, you see that? And just zoom in right there. Things like right here, there's just a funny shadow under here. The body line here is just not really that well. So that's the things I'm working on, making sure it looks perfect, making sure that bumper looks really good once it's painted.
This bumper job took me about 2 hours, but I know it'll be extremely rewarding when everything is painted and looking perfect.
Can you imagine flying all the way to Seattle, buying 3 wire harnesses just to make one, and then having it rip? That's exactly what I don't want to happen. And that's why I took off this fender to make sure that this wire harness is tucked nicely, because I'm gonna be driving the car and I don't want this to go back into the wheel and then rip it out from inside the car like it did the very first time. So let's get this all situated wherever it is not zip tied or anything like that. Let's get it all secure. We got some inside here dangling, but we're gonna make this perfect. That way we can actually drive the car highway speeds.
The biggest fear I have is ripping that wire harness again, so I double, triple checked, made sure everything's nice and tight, and there's no way that wire would get near the wheel.
In life, the good stuff takes a lot of hard work and sweat, but I'm happy to report that the front bumper is officially finished. We can put it back onto the car. Obviously not like fully tightened, just kind of on the perimeter of the bumper, that way it doesn't fly off. We do gotta put in the seat belt into the car and check under the vehicle to make sure that there's no shields that are gonna be smacking against the highway once we're driving. So we're so close to get this thing ready for the paint shop. I cannot be more excited. It's just absolutely unreal right now.
We're so close to getting this thing down to the paint shop, slap the bumper back on, and we just kind of tightened it with like zip ties and whatnot because we're still gonna have to take it off. Let's just hope it doesn't fly off on the way there.
Little tip for you guys, if you have any kind of sticky residue on a panel that you want to take off and not ruin the paint, use just plain gas. It works the best and it's just safe for paint. Just like that, we are all wiped clean. A little bit of elbow grease comes right off. Sometimes these letters here come off as well with gas. Oh yeah, these ones are coming off. Sometimes they use some kind of ink that is just some kind of paint that is super stubborn and doesn't want to come off. This one does come off. Just gotta re-wet the napkin, the microfiber. What we gotta do is actually put a seatbelt in, and from my other third RS7, I have front belts that have already been exploded, but they should work as long as we don't tell anybody. So let's put those in. That way we got some kind of a buckle, you know?
The repaired seatbelt from this RS7 should be coming back from L&D Solutions any day. But we are in a rush, we have no time, and we gotta make this thing fully legal just in case a cop or anything pulls us over. So this seatbelt here will do for now.
Ooh-wee. Look at that. The end is near. Yes, let's go. So we are out on a little stroll. Look at that sunset. Just a tiny little stroll. Get it up to about maybe 45. See if we'll get any kind of noise from anything. Gotta close my window. About 45. Let's do 50. Looks perfect. So I'm super excited to tell you guys that everything is perfect. There was no noise, no funny noises, anything like no overheating or anything. And on Monday, we are going to the paint shop. I literally can't believe it right now. If you're not entered to win this please just go to my Instagram, subscribe to my Instagram at BYBTim. And if you don't win this, you can feel free to unsubscribe if you don't want to be subscribed. So just go right now, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the inside.
All right, well, it's Monday morning and we have our last thing on the list, which is a temporary registration. That way we can drive the vehicle legally. We're gonna tape this on right here and head down to the paint shop.
That doesn't sound too good. You guys hear that? It's making a bunch of noise under the car. Exactly what I knew would rip. It ripped. Anyways, this bottom engine shield that's already been wrecked just kind of ripped off, I guess, or just started dangling, hitting the floor. I don't really care about it because I'm gonna swap it out. But besides that, you know, we're pretty solid. We're not overheating. We're doing great. And to ensure that we are never gonna get stranded anywhere, we got coolant and the main thing, zip ties. So we're solid. Let's keep going. Aside from that shield, look at this. This is insane. Like literally, watch this. Ready? Watch, watch, watch. Oh my gosh. This thing is crazy. Good news is we are pulling up to the shop and we have no extra issues besides that engine thing. The engine cover at the bottom. But yeah, the car's not overheating. It's running perfect. It is stupid fast to a point where I think that it may be tuned right now. And if it's not tuned and I get it tuned and it goes even faster, that's gonna be insane. Oh my gosh. I don't know, this RS7 is just impressing me every single day. Every single thing is just impressing me with the car. It's so comfy, it's so nice, it's so like, even though the interior is not really put together, but yeah. All right, so we have made it to our destination. Our beautiful RS7 has been officially dropped off for paint. And this is probably the last time you guys will see it in this multicolor spotted cow looking car. And these guys here know exactly what they're doing. And the reason why I say they know exactly what they're doing is because first of all, you can tell by the vehicles that customers drop off, so you can tell that they're high quality vehicles. And second of all, they specialize in aluminum and stuff like that. And I know aluminum is extremely tough. I also looked at the paintwork, so we should be getting probably A++ quality on the paintwork, and the material is PPG, which is probably the best paint material you can get. So I pulled up to the shop that has the RS7 right now that they're painting it tomorrow. And that's a little sneak peek of the wheels right there. You guys will see those in the next episode, but I want to show you guys something absolutely crazy. Guys, this is insane. Don't mind me, I'm super sleepy. I didn't get no sleep, I just flew in this morning. But take a look at this. This is the RS7, and this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is raw aluminium, you want to say, however you want to call it. This is crazy, look at this. So they take off all the paint, right? They're gonna take the hood off and take the rest of this off. They fix all the rock chips or whatever kind of imperfections there is. That way you basically have an OEM factory finish of thickness of anything, which is crazy because I've been working on cars for like 9 years or something. I've never ever seen this. I'm super pumped to see what it turns out to be like. And then here's the front bumper. They got it all dialed in. Everything's gonna be primed tonight and painted tomorrow. And I can't wait. Honestly, kind of a bittersweet moment right now since the RS7 is at paint. I'm super excited and super pumped to get it back. That way we can get it wrapped. But since the car's at paint, we have a little bit of time, and that time is gonna be used to fix this RS7 up so we can get it road ready. That way when we pick up the giveaway RS7, we can drop this thing off for paint. If anyone's interested in buying it, that one is for sale. So I ordered a glass for it right here, and the worst thing happened. Literally the worst thing you could ever imagine. I don't know, this is sad. Took me about 3 weeks to find this glass. And $250 later, it got damaged in shipping, which is kind of a bummer because I can't find it. And I really, really need this glass. It's double pane, you see that? Soundproof glass, or shatterproof, Audi calls it, but it's broken. And I don't really know what to do because I don't really want to do all the work to put it on, but I kind of need to because I need to drive this thing to paint in a day or two. Anyways, let's just start working here. Put on a fender, do a couple things, and maybe I'll think of what to do with this. So I got a new reservoir for the windshield washer, and look at this. It's just this garbage inside, and I can't seem to clean it out anyhow. Look at that, it's nasty. So my mom told me to dice some potatoes, put it in there with some water and shake it up. It should clean everything out. So let's see what this does.
Well, you're probably thinking to yourself, Tim, what are you doing? But trust me, my mom has never been wrong. No, but on a serious note, the idea of putting diced potatoes in the reservoir and shaking it makes sense, because the diced potato should act like someone is scratching at the dirt inside the reservoir, and hopefully it gets the dirt loose enough to where it cleans the reservoir. And here you can see it before and after. Not perfect, but a lot better. If anyone has some suggestions, comment them down below.
The new one fit like a glove. Look at this, we got one motor, two motors, and then some kind of sensor. So I actually ordered one, but it was a shorter one. I'm guessing it's the one that doesn't have the washers for the headlights. So I had to reorder to get another one. But we got that done. Let's go ahead and put on the fender. About this fender though, kind of sucks that someone's painted it before and they did an absolute horrible job. Like, I don't know why someone would do this. Look at this. Like, there was Mylar wrap right here. I just peeled it off. So you can see it was silver under. It's not the color of my car, but I'm happy that my painter here in Florida takes this stuff down to bare metal before painting anything, so not a big deal for him. Let's go ahead and put this on.
The correct way would be to put the fender on first, then the reservoir. But since we're taking everything back apart after paint, it didn't really matter. I got the fender on and the gaps lined up quite well. I was honestly pleasantly surprised. I then lifted the car because I needed to address the steering issue. The steering is so stiff it's near impossible to drive. I started clearing the fault codes and thought by connecting the driver airbag it might help. Believe it or not, connecting the driver airbag took away like 10 fault codes. I then realized that this isn't the correct bag at all, and I got scammed on eBay. I then called a handful of mechanics I knew and they told me a couple possible solutions I can try for the stiff steering rack. And if none of them worked, then I needed to replace the module on the rack, which is like an $800 part used. So yeah, I'm trying to fix this thing. First thing was to unplug the pigtails from the module and leave them off for 10 minutes. While waiting, I decided to swap the broken glass for a less broken glass. Shout out to Audi for making this an easy job. Some cars are just insanely difficult just to change the door glass. In goes the new broken one, and obviously I gotta take a pic for my Instagram subscribers, because not only do they get a chance to win my RS7, they also get insider content as well. And the last and final thing was to mock up the front bumper and confirm fitment. It fit decent.
All right, so we are busting through this RS7 because we want to get it to paint. Like I said earlier, my other one's coming back tomorrow and we're exchanging them. So I had to get it basically out the garage ASAP. But we ran into a couple of problems. First of all, the glass is broken. I still went ahead and put it on because I have to drive the car somehow and I don't want it to be, you know, all shattered and flapping in the wind. Second thing, the electrical steering rack is actually broken, and we've identified that because we're getting 12 volts to the connection, but it's not working. Error code saying that it's implausible, and a lot of people say that when the battery is drained for a long enough time, the rack goes bad. So that's like a $700 repair. Another thing we ran into is this bumper. The fitment on it is kind of very, very bad. I don't, if you look at this, I mean, it's zip tied here right now, but just look at the squiggly line on that right there. It's kind of like not perfect right there. And then if we go into the other side is not much better. We have a big gap here, super tight up here. Even if I pull this up, it just gets really tight. It's very like wavy. Luckily though, my body guy here in Florida is absolute G at this stuff. So I'm gonna have this responsibility left on him because this car, I don't wanna waste much time on it since we gotta be working on the giveaway car. With that being said, we're gonna have to drive it to the place with a stiff wheel. So wish me luck. The time has came and we are picking up the RS7 from paint. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Look at that front end. Dang. I'll show you guys tomorrow morning what it looks like because can't really see anything, it's dark. As promised, I was gonna show you guys the paint in the beautiful Florida sunlight, and take a look at this. I am speechless. This color is absolutely wild in the sunlight. Look at this. That is so sick. I almost feel bad wrapping it, but then again, like when I wrap it, whoever's gonna enjoy the car, they can unwrap it and enjoy this color as well. And guys, I'm super pumped that we are finally here where the car is painted. And honestly, paint is one of the biggest hurdles you have to jump, because paint, everybody is booked out. Like all the shops are booked out for paint and framework. So I'm super pumped that we are done. The rest of the stuff is in my hands. Final assembly, wrap, mods, all that stuff is coming extremely soon. And I want to give this car away ASAP. So guys, stay tuned and don't worry about these gaps. These gaps will be set. I told the painter to just do rough gap setting because I want to do the final assembly. And guys, this thing just looks wildly aggressive. That color, I don't know if I even want to wrap it anymore. This color is so sick. Oh my goodness. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. And if you want to have a chance to win this Audi RS7 for basically free, make sure you follow me on Instagram, and not only follow, but subscribe. And once you're subscribed, you are entered to win. The giveaway is open worldwide, and all the details of the giveaway are in the description. But for now, I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one because I'm gonna go assemble this beast.